So last week, just turned the camera on and ranted for about 3 solid hours, and the most I could cut out was down to like a 45-minute video. I'm sure you don't want to hear me yak on for that long, so I just decided to do something else as emotionless as I possibly could. The other video I had was mostly me just pissed off. Rightfully so. The events of the last few weeks are worthy of a Toby Keith song. They really are. And I'm just going to put out this like emotionless video to try and stave off how pissed off I can get and should be before I go to work. So here it is. I had to buzz my beard. I got some paint and some sealant in it, and it just made sense to buzz it off rather than to pick each individual hair out and all the clumps of drywall. And it's like 102 outside, so it made sense just to get rid of it. I have been going through a few of my old MCIs. Just had a little bit kind of behind the GI Joes. There's a collection of MCIs in hard copy. It's not all of them. A lot of them are on my my hard drive, electronic copies. It's really good just every once in a while to go through old old publications, old books, and refresh and review. Get a reminder of what you read before. Especially if you go through with a highlighter. If you own the book, don't library them and ruin them. If you own the book, go through and highlight the parts that really pop out at you, so you can go back later and go, wow, that was really profound. I'm glad I used a highlighter on that. Or what was the point? What was going on in my life? I don't remember. that may remind you of what's going on in your life. It's good to have refreshers. Well, I went through this little stack that I've got here, and the one that really stood out, especially in lieu of current events, the MCI 8101 Alpha Leadership Administration. This really popped out on the shelf, mainly because it's yellow, but the contents speak volumes, especially with what's going on in the world. I'll just give a little rundown. I'll read a little bit for you. It's good information to have. The Marine Corps recognizes 14 leadership traits. We have a acronym, JJ Did Tie Buckle. This is not in that order. I really wish it was. Bearing, courage, decisiveness, dependability, endurance, enthusiasm, initiative, integrity, judgment, justice, knowledge, loyalty, tact, and unselfishness. Who does that remind you of? I've had a couple of commanding officers that were that awesome. They were the definition of JJ Did Tie Buckle. Adopting these principles will guide your actions with your Marines and your unit. You don't have to be a Marine. You can use this in corporate America. Highly recommended in corporate America. A lot of corporate America is based on military publications. Adopting these principles will guide your actions with your Marines and your unit and provide direction throughout your career. As a leader, you must use and reinforce these principles at all times. Proficiency, self-improvement, caring for others, communication, leading by example, confirmation, teamwork, decisiveness, developing subordinates, knowing capabilities, and initiative and responsibility. And let's skip ahead to the highlight portions I have. Definition of a professional. Military professionals are people who have undergone special preparation and training. They have the knowledge on which professional actions are based and the ability to apply that knowledge in a practical way. Their profession is a means of earning a living, but wages do not become the primary purpose of their work. The professional Marine is to be competent, responsible, and dedicated. Competent, responsible, and dedicated. Competent, responsible, and dedicated. Why is professionalism important? A Marine is a public servant who is responsible for the defense of the nation. A leader is responsible for the lives of their Marines. I wish somebody would be responsible for other people on the other side of the planet. In combat, they may have to take risks, which endanger their lives to accomplish a mission. If leaders are careless and have not conditioned themselves and trained their followers to act professionally, a unit may suffer needless casualties. A Marine, like other members of the armed forces, must follow a unique value system that sets them apart from the rest of society. This value system is based on obedience, courage, discipline, selflessness, and honor. Careerists. Careerists are Marines who seek advancement for their own sake and who see it as an end unto itself rather than an opportunity to do something of greater value for their nation and the Marine Corps. I will stress that this is not only a video that addresses just the Marine Corps. Occupation versus profession. Marines, whom being a Marine is an occupation rather than a profession, are motivated by money instead of the nature of the profession and its associated responsibilities. Problems. Careerists and Marines who view their position as an occupation are hurting the professional image Marines have developed in more than 234 years of service to this country. These two types of Marines are harmful to unit readiness and the individual's ability to perform in combat. Leaders must aggressively attack both problems by objectively evaluating subordinates and counseling them accordingly, setting the example for subordinates and living a life according to the military ethic. Continually emphasizing the important and essential function of Marines, keeping the nation secure. Keeping the nation secure. Setting and enforcing standards that will not tolerate or support the actions of careerists or those for whom being a Marine is just an occupation. Read into that what you will. Definition. Ethics, generally interchangeable with morality, italicized morality, has been described as the science that deals with conduct insofar as what is considered right or wrong, good or bad. Webster defines ethics as the principles of conduct governing an individual, profession, or group. The Military Code of Ethics. I'll just skip over that since most people aren't following them. Set the example. The staff NCO is responsible for creating an environment that eliminates poor performance of duty. The staff NCO should continuously set the standard and maintain an even temper. The phrase, "do as I say, not as I do," does not work! Staff NCOs following such a philosophy only come across as hypocrites or phony to their subordinates. The best subordinates will ignore them The worst subordinates will take license for their wrongdoings and multiply the problem. The staff NCO exhibits and demands professionalism by knowing the boundaries of the staff NCO position, providing continuous training, instructions, and counseling, supervising with an eye for matching subordinates with equivalent tasks, encouraging initiative, using the chain of command in two directions, up and down, demonstrating integrity and fairness when dealing with others. Boundaries. I wish some people had them. In addition to setting the standard to the example, staff NCOs must know the boundaries of their positions. Staff NCOs should be sure they always work with seniors in a professional manner and clearly understand their own limits of position relative to their seniors. Staff NCOs will not issue orders for which they do not have the authority to enforce. There are many documents that cover the scope that you are allowed to enforce. There is no rule without law. By issuing an order without the authority to enforce it, the staff NCO can lose a great deal of respect from subordinates and seniors when enforced to withdraw the order. Staff NCOs must know what degree of authority has been granted to them and that they are allowed to use as rewards and incentives. You do not have the power of God at your disposal. As a matter of fact, you are not God. If you do not have the authority to say when liberty is granted, when a person is going to be promoted, or when a Marine is going to be selected to perform a highly sought after task, be careful not to imply that you have this power. The power to grant or take away liberties and freedoms. Read into that what you will. You should make it clear to your subordinates that you do not have this authority, but that your recommendations are generally accepted in these areas. When a subordinate has accomplished an especially credible piece of work, make sure that they get the proper reward in a timely fashion. Supervision. The staff NCO should observe all subordinates, performing assigned duties, and evaluate subordinates daily to be sure that all are productive in their assignment. Staff NCOs can make Staff NCOs can make changes when necessary. Motivation and challenge are positive incentives to build and keep high morale in the ranks of subordinates. Therefore, do not place Marines in jobs for which they lack knowledge and skill, for they will lose motivation. And when you lose motivation, you just don't care. Nor should you place Marines in jobs for which their ability, knowledge, and skill far exceed the requirement to perform the job. Doing so removes the challenge and deteriorates motivation. Gotta keep that morale up, huh? The point is to match the Marines' knowledge and skill with the required task to provide challenge, but attainable jobs to each Marine. Probably read that wrong, but oh well. The initiative. For subordinates to reach their maximum potential, they must have opportunity to exercise their skills. The NCO, especially, must be given the opportunity to use their own initiative, even though mistakes due to lack of knowledge and experience, as well as errors in judgment, may occur. Yeah. That's how they got their rank in the first place. They made the mistakes, they learned from it, they move on. Staff NCOs must provide opportunities for subordinates NCOs, in particular, to demonstrate initiative instead of doing the job for the subordinate. So people need to learn from their own mistakes. Instead of letting Daddy bail them out. Professional bearing. If the staff NCO and senior demonstrate any indication that they are not working closely together, the other members of the unit will quickly sense it, and many try to play one person against the other to the detriment of all. You must develop a mature professional relationship based on mutual respect and a regard for human dignity with your seniors. Above all, present subordinates with a united front in all matters of concern to the organization. And then it goes into proficiency and conduct marks. Leaders, let's support. Leaders make decisions every day involving not only the service, but the morale and welfare of their subordinates. To demonstrate support for leaders and successful mission accomplishments, staff and CEOs should express their understanding of the decision-making process, understanding of their position in carrying out the senior's policy, enthusiasm when communicating the information down the chain. So there it is. Leadership and administration. I'm going to edit this down and put it out and read into it what you will. I believe that some civilians need to hear this. I believe some politicians need to hear it. If they feel the need that they should purchase this or attain a copy of this and read it, live it, love it, it would actually help them in their professional careers. It would help you if you worked at Taco Bell. Absolute fantastic publication. I'm going to read a few more later. This has been a trying week for the Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, and people who actually give a flying about their country. And people who are not traitors, who have not sold out their nation, who do not cheat to get ahead. This is a fantastic book for those who have integrity, who wish to become more honorable than their fellow man or brethren. Bible states, regardless, depending on which copy you get, which version. If you want to increase honor in your life, read your MCIs. If you want to get promoted, do your MCIs. It's obvious that some people get promoted without taking their MCIs, and that really is a shame, because that ends up telling the world you're an idiot if you can't see it, that somebody didn't do their MCI. Read into that what you will. If someone plagiarizes documents in order to get promoted or further their careers, you can read into that what you wish. And I have said too much. I hope I get this done before I have to leave for work. Like, share, subscribe. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Yeah,